Hiring for sales, Team Trait's Sales Acumen Assessment measures 18 categories of sales competency, from prospecting to leveraging AI to closing the sale. Sign up for a free demo today at teamtrait.com. That's team, TRAIT.com. Welcome to the Manage Smarter podcast with hosts C. Lee Smith and Audrey Strong. We're glad you're here for discussions on new ways to manage smarter, hire, develop, and retain talent, improve results, and propel team performance to new heights. This is the Manage Smarter podcast.
Guess what this episode is, Lee?
I don't know. Well, actually, I do know since we put it together. I mean, we show prep is what we do, so I have a pretty good idea.
It is episode 300.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And a lot
of podcasts basically, it's like never make it to 300. Yeah, you'll see that they
5.
Yeah, well, you see a lot of them. They'll make it to 50 or 72.
Yeah, and
or
they give up.
200, and they say, "Okay, I'm done," or wherever it's 300 or whatever. And I still love doing it.
Me too. I mean, we have met 300 super interesting people, and just all the different conversations that have come out of that, and now we get a lot of guest pitches coming in for people that I just have never met or heard of. It's wonderful. It's great.
It's one of those things like where we have these stories that we learn about each individual person. And we work that into the conversation, try to do it early in the conversation as far as what inspired them to do what they do, or asking them something that's unique about them. And there's a certain power that's associated with getting to know somebody on a personal level, and it's not just all business. When we first started the show, it was all business, and boom, we were in, out, and it was all business. And getting to know somebody and what they like to do, what they don't like to do, what they feel like their expertise is, and what led them to that, what their origin story is something that's really not only helpful in the podcast, but I believe it's very helpful in management and leadership as well.
Yeah, because think of it this way. I mean, how I always say, well, you can take that meeting over Zoom, but if you're in that city, you should take the person to lunch. In person, FaceTime, or just getting to know the person time is invaluable. It just adds invaluable.
Business people are people too. So the first part is business, second part is people. So whether it's your boss, your board members, your top clients, your colleagues, anybody in your network, they're all people. They've all got their own set of issues, their own problems, their own reasons to celebrate, reasons to have gratitude. And you certainly just can't go off of what's social media, because that's basically everybody's glossing over. That's their best hits. That's them with their photo with a filter, essentially. It is about having conversations, and that aren't always about business. And sometimes it's small talk, and sometimes it's real.
So if you've been listening to the show and you're one of our core audience and you've listened to not all 300, I would not expect that, but we thought we would take episode 300 and answer some questions and let you, our listeners, learn a little bit more about us. And then some of you who may want to be on the show but are shy about sending in to me for a booking or something, or filling it out on the website, you might feel more comfortable because you know a little bit more about us. So that is the show today. So welcome to Manage Smarter, everyone. My name is Audrey Strong. I'm the Senior Vice President of Communications here at Sales Fuel.
Yeah, and I'm C. Lee Smith. I'm the CEO and founder of Sales Fuel.
All right, so let's get this show on the road.
Let's give it a try and see
stories to tell.
Let's give it a try and see what happens.
Okay.
All right, so we get asked questions sometimes by email, a lot of times through LinkedIn. And John asked this question: how did you two meet?
We met at Ohio University. I'm not going to date myself, so I'm going to say in the 1980s. And we
Late
met in
80s.
the cafeteria. I'll never forget it. We met in the cafeteria line, standing there waiting to get our trays and our silverware, and just waiting to go up through the line. Right? Do I have that right?
That's it. And you still make fun of my shirt that I was wearing that day.
You were wearing a lumberjack shirt, and I said, "Nice shirt."
Yeah, and then there's Audrey basically standing there, and she's like the uptown girl. Okay, so I'm the hick from West Virginia, and she's the uptown girl from Chicago and all that, and and it was weird, but it's that was 35 plus years ago, whatever, and we've been friends ever since.
I mean, thank God that was a slow cafeteria and it was a very long line
Yeah, it
So
was notoriously slow. Yeah.
yeah. It's
You
weird
know,
too. Like I remember the moment that I remember that conversation, but I don't remember if we even like ate together then, or I don't remember what happened after we got our lunch,
I
just for
don't
the record.
either.
Okay,
I
good.
don't remember either. Yeah. So what happens sometimes then too, like when, and this happened like the last time you and I were at a conference together, and this comes up
Mhm.
all the time because I'm 6'1". Little known fact, you see Audrey because she's sitting in a chair. She's also 6'1". So
Mhm.
people see us together and we're roughly the same age or whatever. And, we have sort of like a brother-sister relationship.
Totally.
But we get asked this all the time. They ask, are you two married?
Yeah.
I know.
No.
The answer is yes, but not to each other. So, yeah.
Yeah, other people. Yeah, we get that at restaurants too when we're just like having a
Yeah.
business dinner. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It's like,
We're giving each other shit,
okay.
It's like, yeah, that's, we're that, but yeah. No, it's like you've got a great husband that you've been married to over 20 years or whatever. Yeah. And yeah. And my wife, we've
You
been
guys have been
married
married forever.
as of the date of this recorded. I never doubt my ability to screw something up, but as of this recorded, 35 plus years. And,
Oh my God.
our spouses like each other. We're in the same group chats and everything like that. So it's
Instagram reels coming in fast
every
every
day,
freaking day.
every day.
Oh God.
Yeah. So
Well,
I kind of let that cat out of the bag about where we grew up. So it's like, Chicago. And then for me, it was a
mhm.
small town in West Virginia, just on the other side of the river from Marietta, Ohio. But two totally different upbringings. But that's a question that, quite frankly, that you can ask and learn a lot about a person that is asking that.
Mhm.
Um, we had
But
this
I wasn't
conversation.
even from the city of Chicago. I was from out
No.
by Park Ridge, which is out by O'Hare Airport. And basically, if you've seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, that was the house and the look of it. And we would drive our parents' cars into a Cubs game or whatever. It was Ferris Bueller. So there,
I
that's
was
all you need to
in,
know.
I grew up in an unincorporated town, actually, and the town had 900 people in it, no stoplights,
Mm,
and had nothing but a convenience store and a miniature golf course, which I had a strange combination, but that's all that was in a little town where I grew up. So, it was one of those
mm,
deals like if you wanted food or anything like that, then you're quote unquote going into town. There's like, hey, are
into
you going into
town.
town? Yeah.
Wow.
So, you
Interesting.
know, a question that was a conversation that also was a conversation with one of my best friends, Jeff. We were on long drives to Indianapolis for the Indy 500 that we do every year. What did your parents do for work? Michelle asked us, and how did that shape you?
You want to go first, or do you want me to go
Yeah,
first?
well, for me, my mom was a bookkeeper, but also in the radiology department at one of the two hospitals, and where I grew up.
Woo! Yeah.
I know, crazy. They even had stoplights there. It was nuts. My dad though worked in a chemical factory for more than 40 years, and so what he did to shape me was got me a job there over the summer and where I worked in a factory, and I had some of the jobs, quite frankly, that were common factory worker jobs. And the worst part about it was I had to work shift work. So those who are unfamiliar with shift work is like there's three
Mhm.
shifts. There's 8 to 4, there's 4 to 12, and there's overnight 12 to 8. And so what happens is that you work one week 8 to 4, the next week, and then the next week, and then you're off for a while. That totally screws up your sleep pattern.
Oh yeah.
And pretty much, it's like not only did I make good money to help put myself through college, but really it was a good lesson to me. It's like I don't want to be doing this.
Oh.
So, so that's how it shaped
Interesting.
me, I thought.
So my mom was a first an elementary school teacher, and then when I was 12, she went back and got her master's in special ed and taught visually impaired and blind children. And so I remember being like in junior high and she was learning Braille on a Braille writer. And then they'd make her blindfold herself and she'd have to walk around the house without her vision, so like bumping into tables and stuff, but the fact
That's
that
what we
she
do
went
these
back,
days. Yeah.
in the Chicago school system, the special ed teachers have much better job security within the Chicago Teachers Union, and they got paid more money. So that was a good example. And then my dad was a veterinarian pathologist, and he did both animal lab research And then he also worked for private industry as well. And so they're both just like professional people, but like, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I always saw them as my parents. I didn't really see them as people. I
Mm-mm.
mean, like I
Yeah.
even remember the first time I learned that my mom's name was Janice. And I was like, your name is Janice? Like, I don't know,
Well,
but
and both of our parents were pretty much of the idea of like, yeah, once you turn 18, get the hell out of my house.
mm,
You're on your own and you better, figure it out,
if I wanted to stay or I couldn't get a job in my chosen field right away, I had to work and they were going to charge me rent
oh my God.
for my
Yeah.
room.
No,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
just, not only
that's
was I
our,
not allowed back, I didn't want to go back. So
oh,
that
wow.
was, so that's how it shaped me. But she'll also ask, is there another city or place in the world that genuinely changed how you see things?
Hmm. Been so many places. Plus, I've lived and worked a lot of places in television news. So,
That's true. Yeah.
um, are you talking about leisure travel or are you talking about
I think it's any kind of
career?
travel. I'll go ahead and
Okay.
mine happened very recently. So, did a 2 week trip to Japan, and that totally changed how I see the world. By being in Asia for the first time, but also just Japan about all the different aspects of their culture and everything like that that are so different than ours in the Western world. And I would say to anybody, if you're stuck, and or you need new ideas or anything like that, the best thing you can do is travel. Go someplace else or whatever and immerse yourself in their culture. Don't basically try to look at and expect them to do things the way that you're used to doing them or whatever. Immerse yourself in their culture, try to do things their way and everything like that. That opens up your mind and also just gives you sometimes it gives you a new appreciation for what you have back home. And sometimes it makes you, when you get back home, yearn for the things that you experienced when you were
Mhm.
having your travel, I think.
I think mine would probably be 2 weeks in Greece. So, like a
Yeah.
week in Athens and all the different islands. And when you're like standing at the Temple of Poseidon or on the Acropolis, and you're just like realizing how old this is, like how long civilization's been around, you literally realize that your lifespan is like a blip. Blip.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like
Like,
when I was traveling through Europe or whatever, there
unbelievable.
would be holes, potholes basically
Mhm.
in the pavement, and everything like, and underneath
Right.
that were the brick streets that the Romans built. Yeah,
Mhm.
boy, and the Romans like to build things. Not only do they like to conquer things, they actually like to build things too. Whatever. But it's like that absolutely makes you feel. I remember I was standing in Verona at the time when I saw that Verona, Italy, and it was yeah, you're exactly right. It's like
Mhm.
time speeds up once you hit 40, but it's
Ugh,
like in the grand
I
scheme of
know.
things or whatever, we're here in a flash and gone. So, you know,
So that's what I would say for sure. Yeah.
uh, Trey asked, "What's the best piece of business advice you've ever gotten, either on the show or otherwise?"
I've got mine. You know what mine is?
Oh, go
This is,
ahead.
well, this is specifically was a conversation within the category of business of professional services. But I think it applies,
Ooh, intrigue.
period, to every, just use it well, use it often. Don't hire anyone who is not busy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Do not hire anyone who says to you, "Oh yeah, I'm taking clients." You want to hire the person who says, "I'm not taking clients," and then get them to take you as a client because if they can take you as a client, but you want to hire that person.
For me, it was a executive coach that I had. May he rest in peace. Unfortunately, he's not with us. Uh, but he said to me, "Lee, you need to be more curious." And what he meant by that was that I was so eager to rush in and fix a problem. When someone came to me and they had a problem or something
Right.
that needed my attention or whatever, that I would immediately want to jump in and try to fix it. When what I really needed to do was be more curious, ask more questions so that I fully understood what the actual problem was before I went about fixing it. So,
Mhm.
and that actually leads to something that I learned to do through the podcast as well. I took those skills, and one of the things that helps me with the podcast is not coming into the show overly prepared. And we'll talk for a
Mhm.
second about show prep, but it's like sometimes I'll come into the show basically with one question, and then I just listen intently, then ask follow-up questions and try to draw people out,
Mhm.
always with the intent of making the guest look good and allowing them to share their expertise, and most importantly, then to serve you, the listener. But it was to be more curious, and that's business advice that served me well.
That's
So
a good
then we
one.
get into what's the best piece of personal advice that you've ever gotten that's non-business. So
Oh
I know
man.
what yours is because it's like you and I were talking about this morning,
Really? What
all
did
this
I
week. Yeah, we were talking
say?
about no, it was about making your own money.
Oh, well, yeah, that's like a life thing from my
That's what we're
mother.
talking about. I think
Oh, okay.
that's what Trey's asking.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're a woman, but then, I mean, I don't, my mom was the silent generation and she was given three choices when she went off to college. You could be a secretary, a nurse, or a teacher. That's what her father, my grandfather, gave her as choices for what she could major in, right? So she
Hmm.
picked teacher. But like, even though with all the unlimited possibilities that we have, the dynamic of getting a career in an education and always working, even if it's a side part-time thing, if you have kids, is super important. I would say it is for men too. What if you marry a super rich woman? You have to have a work history and skills so that no matter what happens to you in life, you can make your own way and support yourself. Like you just always have to be able to do
Make
that.
your own money. Yeah,
Make
it's
your
like
own money.
just in case,
Yeah.
it's like that they might get tired of you, you might get tired of them or their
Mhm.
family or something like that. You got to have those options, and that comes in handy for sure. Mine is somewhat related. It was for when I asked my father-in-law, my late father-in-law, for his blessing to marry my now wife. He said to me, if you're going to marry my daughter, you need to learn one thing. You need to learn to read her mind. And oddly enough, this also turned into business advice. And he didn't actually really mean to get a crystal ball or anything like that. I think what he meant, uh, well, either he meant one of two things. Either he meant that she's not good at communicating or whatever, and you have to try to figure it out on your own. That wasn't the case. What I actually believe that he meant is to understand and know her so well and what she, and her values and her philosophies and the way that she thinks and the way that she communicates non-verbally and everything like that, so that you have powers that are similar to being able to read somebody's mind. And oddly enough, that's advice that I've also taken into business. That's actually helped me. And actually, that's really the whole reason why we're doing this particular show, is so that you can learn more about us, so that when you listen to,
Mhm.
when you go back and you listen to past episodes, or when you listen to future episodes or whatever, you'll have an idea of where we're coming at from people and why we ask some of the questions that we do, I think.
Yeah, we're not
Uh,
crazy.
So Tiana asks, is there a particular cause or issue outside of business that you guys care about?
Yeah, my husband and I are big, like ASPCA, animal adoption, rescue organization type people. All our pets have been rescues. So Emma, who just passed away, she was dumped by a breeder, and Retriever Rescue of Colorado had her, and we went and
You
got her
retrieved a
and kicked her.
retriever.
We retrieved the retriever, and she was fantastic. So
So
that's
for
ours.
mine is cancer research. I've had
Mm,
just recently, my brother-in-law passed away from brain cancer. My dad had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Grandfather, lung cancer. So you know, that's near and dear to my heart. So what I've been doing every year for the past 18 years now is I ride 100 miles on my bicycle for Pelotonia, which is a big event that we have here in Columbus. We raise money for the James Cancer Hospital for the research department. So they're researching all the various types of cancer, trying to learn more about that, develop vaccines and that sort of thing, and various treatments. And that's something I care a great deal about, because to be able to ride 100 miles on a bicycle in a day requires a lot of pain and
wow.
training leading up to it. So I have to care a lot about it. But raised a significant amount of money. And I mean, I believe the organization, Pelotonia itself, has raised over $300 million over the course of
Wow.
its creation. So, and also what was interesting about that is like when I started riding the bike, I weighed 300 pounds, or as I like to say, I was a one biscuit shy of 300.
One biscuit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, uh, you know, so you may have noticed that over the years, if you go back to the episode one, and those of you who are able to see some of the episodes in video, notice I look a lot different now. It's like there have been a variety of things that I've done to lose weight. I've lost well over 100 pounds, but riding the bicycle and doing indoor cycling classes to be able to train for it, everything like that is by far how I lost the most amount of weight. So what happened is like, in trying to help save other people's lives, the life I may have saved is my own. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And Pelotonia is what time of year every year? I know I sponsor you,
That
but
is the first weekend of August. You can also
okay.
then go there and look me up. It's pelotonia.org/C Lee Smith if you are interested in learning more and perhaps donating to the cause. But yeah, one of these days or whatever, it's like, yeah, we're going to get a really hot one and whatever. That's going to be a struggle, but yeah,
Oh, right. The weather. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jesse asked, what do you do for fun outside of work?
Vegetable garden, and I like to golf, although we have not golfed much at all since moving to Dallas because it's too freaking hot. And there's too many bugs.
Yeah, the bugs were and horseflies were a turnoff
This
for
is
me in
absolutely
Texas.
awful.
Yeah,
So, and arts and crafts, like I do book nooks, right? I build those book nook kits and paint by number, stuff like that. So,
I
and my
mentioned
dad
this.
said it keeps me off the streets and out of the bars.
That's right. Yeah, for me, it's like obviously I mentioned cycling. I'm a big sports fan. Day one season ticket holder for the Columbus Blue Jackets hockey team through thick and thin, mostly thin. And the Columbus Crew on the soccer side. Love football as well, even though it doesn't love me back. My teams don't anyway. So there's that. But the other thing is that since I got back from Japan, I've been big into cooking. So I've been doing Japanese cooking, and so never really taken an interest in cooking. But it's good for it's calming of the mind. And I find that now when I think about food, I don't think about eating food. I think about preparing it. So, and also it's a good creative outlet for me. So I try new things. Even I go off recipe a lot, and that's been a lot of fun. So that's what I do. This is Saeed who's asking, who has been your favorite guest on the show so far?
Oh my God. I'd have to look at the list. There's been so many people. I don't want to say I can remember a topic, but I don't remember the guest, and that's bad. So I
What
don't
was the
want to.
topic? What was the topic?
Imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah, we did a couple shows on imposter syndrome or
I just
whatever.
think that I think almost like those shows got a lot of listens, and I think a lot of people have it, whether they talk about it or they're in the closet with imposter syndrome and not talking about it. I think almost everybody has it.
Or you'll get
One,
promoted to a level where you might have
oh my
imposter syndrome.
God.
Um,
Yeah.
And then that's a good lesson then for founders and for people doing startups and like that who either you have a level of confidence that you are projecting but you don't either have inside, or you've got a level of confidence, quite frankly, which is more than you really should have. But yeah, that's a good topic for me. It's like when back when we were in college, one of the biggest business books at that time was Tom Peters' In Search of Excellence. And he's written some other books since then. And we've had Tom on the show twice. And so getting to interview him, someone who I, have, read his work and respected so much or whatever, was really great. He was a super nice guy. I mean, no computer, no video, no Zoom or anything like that. I mean, basically he picked up the telephone or whatever and we put him on. And, and for me, I think the most memorable conversation that we had was during COVID, when he had some very terse and
Oh yeah, he did.
not
Yeah.
polite words for business people, leaders and managers that took advantage of the COVID situation then, for their own benefit and their own profit. And those are some things that basically you could apply to. Actually, you could almost apply that to AI right now because I'm seeing a lot of the same kind of things happening there. So yeah, definitely he was He was one of my
He was fired
favorites.
up.
Yeah. So let me ask this. This is the last question from
Okay, good,
Tom.
because we're pretty good on time.
Yeah. Tom asked, what is the secret for doing a great podcast?
Show prep.
Yeah. I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
And I book the show and I go through a lot of pitches, and you have to look for quality guests and you have to do topics you have not done already. There's the trifecta.
For me, it is listening with the ear of you, the listener, and trying to ask follow-up questions that you're probably thinking about in your head, and nothing gets me. So it's the art of the follow-up question. And nothing excites me more like when I'm listening to an old episode or whatever in the car or something like that on the way home, and the guest says something like that. It says, "Oh, I wish I would have asked da 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 da," and then I ask,
and
it
then
or
you
whatever.
ask it, you're like,
so delighted.
Woo.
Yeah.
God.
So I think those are the things, but definitely keeping it interesting, keeping it entertaining, and also keeping it human. But it's like there's always got to be value there. We're not here to be influencers, right? We're not here to be entertainers or anything like that. We're not on network TV doing our own podcast on the side or whatever, where everybody knows who we are. We're doing it, for the benefit of the listener. But I also will say, people say that you do podcasts to benefit your business. And I'm not so sure that a lot of people I know that do podcasts have that experience. But for me, it is, with the hour of show prep that we do, and then actually cutting the show, the podcast and everything like that, that is 90 minutes of education, where I always learn something new, doing the show and prepping for the show and everything like that. So to me, that's the main benefit that I get out of it. And I think that's the secret of a great podcast as well, is making sure that you don't get bored of your own podcast. That you're just as jazzed about it on episode 35, 100, 300 in our case, and that's because you've got some personal benefit coming out of it, not just professional.
Well, here's to another 300. If you'd like to be on the show, go to salesfuel.com, go under resources, Manage Smarter Podcast, and there's a form fill on the website, and the email comes in and it goes to me, and then just, put yourself up or a colleague or whoever, and I would love to hear from all of you out there in, I was going to say TV land.
Well, we've had lots of great business consultants and book authors and CEOs and founders, and people of all types on the show. And so, if you have just written a book, or let's say you're consulting now, or you're giving speeches in front of audiences, or you wish you were. And you've got something to offer, to our audience. By the way, I remember Carter Cast. I always do this. So those of you who listen to the show knows that Audrey always tries to close out the show, and then I always have to add something at the end, where I can't just answer, just close out the show. I want to go back to one of the most memorable shows. I remember Carter Cast. And he was working at Frito-Lay, and he was talking about the time that he got a little arrogant, a little too big for his britches, as we used to say in West Virginia.
He got fired.
And got fired. Yeah. And so his lessons were basically getting fired was the best thing that ever could have happened to him, because one, it humbled him, but it also led him to a better place. So there's somebody then who basically their message, what they could bring then to a business audience of managers and future leaders and current leaders is what it was, getting fired. Not something that people want to talk about on social media, but there was a lesson there, and there were some benefits there. So by all means, give it a shot, fill out the form or whatever. And, if you've got something of value to offer or whatever, other listeners want to hear about and learn from, then, we're the place for you.
Sounds good. Well, thanks, Lee. This has been fun. And everybody,
yeah, it has been fun.
Looking forward to getting your emails. Send them in.
Okay. Thanks, we'll talk everyone. Soon. All right. Till next time.
Same bat channel. Yeah.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and recommend on iTunes, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more great information at salesfuel.com.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.